At 86 years old, Tom Brokaw has finally broken his silence about Savannah Guthrie, and what he revealed regarding her mother could change your perception of the ongoing situation entirely. It's Monday night, February 9th, 2026. The 5 p.m. ransom deadline in Tucson passed 4 hours ago. No wallet address appeared, no proof of life photo surfaced, and no new message followed. Or at least none has been shared publicly. The deafening silence lingers. But amidst that quiet, something else occurred that no one expected. Tom Brokaw, the legendary news anchor whose voice shaped decades of breaking stories, from wars to elections to 9/11, ended years of personal silence. This was no TV broadcast, not even an op-ed or formal interview. Instead, Brokaw opted for a private moment among a small, trusted group. 8 former colleagues and lifelong friends gathered in the living room of his New York home this afternoon. No press, no cameras, no recordings. Just coffee, chairs arranged in a circle, and Tom, sharp as ever, speaking with intent after holding back for years. One of the attendees called me later at exactly 7:14 p.m. Eastern and asked if I wanted to hear what Brokaw had revealed. Of course I listened. What follows are not rumors or guesswork, but an account relayed to me in detail by someone who was just feet away from Brokaw as he spoke. His words cut straight to the heart of why Savannah Guthrie has been navigating her current ordeal the way she has. Tom began without any buildup. He described first meeting Savannah when she was fresh in the 4th floor of NBC's 30 Rock, a polished, driven 30-something with impeccable manners. But there was something else that stood out to him, something only someone with his experience could perceive. She carried her mother with her, he said simply, like a second heartbeat. This wasn't in the endearing, call your mom on Sundays kind of way, but rather in a profound and unyielding manner, a dynamic where her mother was always in control, even from afar. Tom elaborated, explaining that Nancy Guthrie, Savannah's mother, raised 3 children alone after her husband's death. Nancy didn't cultivate softness. She cultivated strength, born of necessity. She believed the world punished weakness, Brokaw said, so she made sure her children never showed any. He described how young Savannah internalized these lessons early, deeper than most ever would. He shared one particular moment that left the group silent. When Savannah was offered her career-defining role as co-anchor of the Today Show, her first call wasn't to her agent or even her husband, it was to her mother. Nancy's response reportedly wasn't a congratulatory outburst, but a stoic directive. That's fine, but don't let it go to your head, and don't let them see you sweat. You're there to work, not to be liked. Savannah recounted this to Tom with pride, not frustration, as if relaying a badge of honor earned in her family's value system. Tom used this memory as the foundation for everything he shared next. Now look at her this week, he said. Listen to how she speaks directly into the camera. Watch how deliberate she is with each sentence. He pointed out how Savannah thanks the public first, describes her missing mother's character next, acknowledges the ransom events objectively, and only then lastly makes any emotional plea. This isn't instinctive, he stated with certainty. This is training, pure and simple. This is Nancy's choreography. Even in this harrowing situation, according to Brokaw, Savannah is following the steps drilled into her since childhood. Never reveal panic. Never show desperation. Never appear to lose control. Because control was the only thing that earned her mother's respect. Someone in the room asked him bluntly, "Do you think Nancy would disapprove if Savannah broke down on air right now?" Tom didn't pause before answering, "I think Nancy would be appalled," he replied with weight in his voice. "Not because she doesn't love her daughter. She absolutely does. But because she taught Savannah for 46 years that the moment you let emotions take over, you've lost. Nancy never gave up. Not when her husband passed. Not while raising 3 kids alone. And not when life hit her hardest. She didn't cry in public. Didn't beg. She fixed things and expected her children to do the same." Tom shared something unsettling. Savannah has cried only twice in all the years he's known her, when speaking of her father-in-law's death and her daughter's struggles. Both times she quickly stopped, composed herself, smiled, and changed the conversation. He called it conditioning, not strength, and said it's what's keeping her going now, but it could also break her. In another video plea, Savannah said, "We will pay." Her delivery was chilling, calm, resolute, as if reciting treaty terms. Tom noted it wasn't the tone of a daughter pleading for her mother's life, but of a soldier reporting to command. Even with her mother missing, Savannah remains bound by unspoken orders, operating as though failure isn't an option. Someone asked if she could keep it up for much longer. Tom admitted he didn't know. He could see she was running on empty, her spark dim but not extinguished. Stopping would mean admitting she couldn't fix things. It would feel like failing the one person she has spent a lifetime not wanting to disappoint. Tom shared one more memory. A decade ago, Savannah confided in him, whispering that she'd called her mom during a tough time. Her mother's reply, "You've handled worse. Handle this." So she did, carrying on with a weary smile before going live on air like everything was fine. That's who Savannah is. The woman Nancy raised her to be. Now Savannah juggles negotiating with a kidnapper, weathering public scrutiny, comforting her children, and staying composed, all while believing perfection is the price of love. As Tom put it, Savannah isn't just a co-anchor or a mother. She's the embodiment of a parenting philosophy that made invincibility the measure of love. And now, she's trying to be invincible for the woman who showed her no other way. He urged restraint. No social media posts with his name yet. Let the investigation breathe. But when it's over, someone needs to tell the story. Not just a crime story, but the tale of a daughter who spent decades proving herself to earn love. His final hope. That if Nancy comes home, she tells Savannah she no longer has anything to prove. Tom ended quietly as an 86-year-old man who has seen life lay bare its harshest lessons. Savannah Guthrie isn't just fighting for her mother's life, she's battling to uphold the only love she has ever known. And it's draining every ounce of her strength. Tomorrow the search goes on. As the world watches those videos, he urged viewers to see not just a determined woman or grieving daughter, but the child still striving for approval. The daughter who believes strength is the cost of love. And most importantly, to keep Nancy's name alive. Because when she comes home, Savannah won't just need relief. She'll need permission to set aside the armor she's carried her entire life. Tom Brokaw, at the age of 86, finally voiced what everyone else had only been sensing but couldn't articulate. His words served as a pivotal moment, something the rest were now compelled to carry forward. "Bring Nancy home," he urged. And when that happens, let Savannah finally hear the words she's been waiting for over 46 years. You don't have to be perfect anymore. You never did. Tom wasn't in a rush to neatly conclude the conversation after the first wave of memories washed over them. He stayed there, allowing the weight of it all to settle among the 8 people seated around him. Then he shifted to a far more detailed matter, one that made several in the room instinctively lean forward in their chairs. "I want you to think about the exact chain of events since February 1st, he began, his voice measured and deliberate. Not the sheriff's version of the timeline, not the timeline marked by ransom notes, the family's timeline, the public timeline, the one Savannah and her siblings have curated and controlled. He then laid everything out with a precision that reflected decades spent breaking down stories for a living. Sunday, February 1st, the day the house was found empty and the crime scene declared. The sheriff appeared on camera stating Nancy was taken against her will, but there was no public statement from Savannah, not a word from her. Monday arrived, he continued, and the search gained momentum. The FBI joined the investigation. The entire nation was now paying attention, but still, silence from Savannah. He paused briefly for impact. Tuesday, ransom notes hit TMZ and dominate local news outlets, with Bitcoin demands circulating everywhere. Again, nothing from Savannah or her siblings. Then came Wednesday. Tom said with purpose, "Finally, we saw the first video from Savannah. But look at when it went public. Late Wednesday evening. Not Tuesday night or even Wednesday morning. Late enough for it to be meticulously rehearsed, edited, and vetted. That timing isn't a coincidence. That pause, those 3 long days of absolute silence, was Nancy." Tom scanned the room, his gaze lingering on each person present before continuing. Savannah didn't speak until she believed she was ready to speak perfectly. She waited until she could start by offering gratitude, until she could present her mother as this beacon of strength and light, until she could address her mother's captor without even a trace of desperation. His tone carried a muted intensity, emphasizing his point. That's not how most daughters act in such unimaginable circumstances. Most would have turned to Instagram within hours, crying out for their mom's return with raw anguish. But not Savannah. He let the silence breathe before continuing. Instead, she waited. He said firmly. She waited until she could present herself as composed, resilient, and in control, all to meet her mother's impossible standards. Then Tom shifted gears once more, moving on to analyze the second video release on February 7th. He recalled how Savannah spoke 4 words, "When we will pay," with such unnerving composure that it felt like the atmosphere in the room had suddenly shifted. Not because the pledge was unexpected. It wasn't, Tom clarified. It had to be said, but because of how she delivered it. She stared directly into the camera lens with a steadiness unlike anything you'd ever expect in a moment like that. No trembling voice, no signs of pleading or terror. Just a calm, precise determination. He shook his head ever so slightly as if trying to fully absorb his own memory of it all. That's not how human beings usually sound when offering up their life savings to save someone they love, Tom explained. That's how a high-powered lawyer sounds, coolly closing a major deal. That's how generals speak when giving orders they know must be obeyed. But there was something deeper beneath that facade, Tom suggested. A command not just to Nancy's captor, but also to herself. Stay in control. Do not break down. Do not show weakness. Prove you're strong enough. At this point, someone from the group voiced what everyone must have been speculating all along. Do you think she's afraid? That if she lets herself break, if she really cracks wide open, Nancy would somehow know and feel disappointed? Tom didn't miss a beat in answering. She's terrified, he said with certainty. I truly believe that part of her thinks Nancy is still watching, not in a supernatural way necessarily, although faith does run incredibly deep in their family, but more like how a teacher watches over a student taking their final exam. He leaned forward slightly, choosing his words with care. Even if Nancy is suffering, bound somewhere, enduring excruciating pain, may be alive, but barely conscious. Savannah is haunted by an unshakable belief that her mother is still grading her every. Tom Brokaw shared a heartfelt reflection this afternoon about Savannah Guthrie's resilience amidst her mother's abduction. Savannah is navigating not only the grief of her missing parent, but also the burden of decades-old expectations of unwavering strength instilled by her mother. Despite the fear that she may appear inadequate, Savannah moves forward, exhibiting remarkable composure in front of cameras and in her professional duties. If Nancy isn't found, Savannah won't collapse publicly, but will privately carry the weight of perceived failure forever. And if Nancy is rescued, Tom hopes someone reminds Savannah of the truth her mom never expressed fully. She's always been enough, without needing to prove her worth or perform for acceptance. As the desert outside Tucson grows colder and the deadline for answers passes, silence prevails. But amid that quiet, Savannah listens for her mother's voice, the same voice that has guided, judged, and shaped her entire life. Tom urged everyone to keep hope alive for Nancy's safe return, and not just for closure, but as an opportunity to allow Savannah to finally experience unconditional love. The freedom to stop proving herself and just exist as her mother's daughter. Bring Nancy home, and when she crosses that threshold, let Savannah hear what she's waited for her entire life. You've always been enough. You can rest now.